Thank you. So, good evening and a warm welcome to everyone watching us. I am Sangeeta Gogoi, your host for today's live session, and we'll be having an interactive session with you all while interviewing our today's guest speaker. So, before starting the session, I would like to speak a few words about our organization, Enajore. Enajore, which means a bond of love. It is this love for his native land that brings back Melindatta from USA to start this nonprofit organization in the year 2018, which involves and engages various initiatives that are striving for social change, honing leadership skills in the Northeast, including Assam. For the past months, we have been engaging with speakers from various fields via virtual platform to create a network among the people working in the region. Today, we have Ornella ma'am with us, who is working as an animal rescuer and feeder and contributing for the welfare of the street animals individually. Hello, ma'am.
Hi,
Welcome to our session.
thank you so much. First of all, I really like to congratulate you guys for doing this such a noble and awesome job to spread the love and awareness to people out here. I'm really glad that people like you do exist in this society. I'm really glad to meet you all. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you, ma'am. It's an honor to have you here with us. So today we'll be talking about her individual contribution, struggles, and how she keeps going with her work every day for the cause. So before asking her our very first question, I would like to let our participants, let our viewers know that if they have any kind of questions or any kind of queries to ask, then they can comment down it in the comment box or like direct message in the Zoom chat box. Thank you. So, ma'am, uh, our first question for you is like, when and how did you start your journey? Like, would you please share your story with our viewers?
I don't remember exactly when I started this, but the only thing I know is I always been love animals. You know, my family used to have pets as long as I remember. And when my studies and all those things started, I just kind of take a break from it all because I really didn't have time at one, like, few years, let's say few years. And then when I started working, then I was living in different parts of Northeast for quite a long time, like in the Nagaland, Meghalaya, and all those stuff. I'm basically from Mizoram, and then my mom is from Arunachal. So I've been all over the place in the Northeast. You can say that because of the work and also belong to two different states. So when I started living in Guwahati, the first thing I noticed was like, the strays. Like you used to wait in the food stall, yeah, those who like, meat butchers areas like that. So I was wondering like whether they are having enough food to fill their stomach. That was my first like, thought. And then feeding part come much later, I admit that, because with work and all, it was really difficult for me to balancing. And I had a like, little daughter like to look after at that time. So I think I started in the year of 2016. That was like, 5 to 6 years ago. When I saw someone like kicking the door when he was asking for some like, food in the food store. So I was thinking it's not fair, like, they're also living beings. So that how my journey started. And then I work with a few NGO in here in Guwahati. But with my work schedule, it's really like, for me to be there when they needed me. And I don't really want to involve when I cannot give my 100%. So I thought that, okay, let me do my own thing at the best of my abilities. That's how I started actually.
It's very nice to hear that from you. Like, uh, you were not able to give, like, according to you, you were not able to contribute 100%, but you still tried and you still didn't give up on that. It's That's the best thing about it, about the start.
The thing with the animal thing is like, when you started it once, you'll never be able to give it up. That's not something that you can start and give it up in the middle. That part I'm sure about it.
That's true. So, what and how you are working for the well-being of the animals? Like, what are you doing for them?
I mostly rescue sick animals, like on the street, and then rescue the puppies without mom, yeah, kitten without moms, like that. And some people used to abandon they like the sick animals, yeah, those puppies outside my gate most of the time. So I keep them in. I took them in, like do the treatments, and then like put them up for adoption. And as you all know, it's very difficult to get adoption like then here in Guwahati, even if they adopt it, you cannot be 100% sure that they'll keep in the good like condition like I want them to. They deserve to have a good home. So I end up keeping them all. Most 90% of the animal that I rescue, let's say 95%, I keep it like at home with me.
Um,
So
coming,
it's more like yeah. Let me elaborate that for a little
yeah,
bit. We do
yeah.
some this sport treatment as well, along with the doctors. Yeah, like the sterilization drive thing. JBF people here in Guwahati, they are the one who helped me out. They did I think more than 80, 90 animals of mine in the sterilization drive. So in that way, I'm really grateful for them because as a feeder, that is a burden for us. This year, if there is a 2 dogs out there, in the next year, there will be 10 dogs. So like if we don't have a source of income, yes, there donation which has been constantly coming, then it's difficult for me or for us the feeder to manage that kind of thing. So JBF doing this sterilization drive, it's really really helpful for us. That part is for sure. I'm really grateful for them.
Actually, there are very less people working for this very cause. Like, people, there are many people out here, but if we comparatively, it's too less because there are so many people working for the well-being of the humans, serving them, but there are less people who work for the animals. So,
That part is true.
yeah.
That
So,
part is true, Sangeeta. I
do you
agree that.
yeah. So, do you think one can choose activism as a career? Like, is there any scope for it? Like, which may
I don't
bring a
think that I'm
change?
a
Like,
right I don't think that I'm a right person to answer that. As a career thing, though, I have no idea. I really have a zero knowledge because you see, whatever I'm doing is for the love of the animals that I have in my heart. I have never been thinking that as a kind of a career that because when you talk about a career, it's about getting the money to establish yourself and all those stuff. So this is what I'm doing is just because I love them, I'm feeding them, I look after them, I keep them at home. you know um, I thought that if someone cannot give them a home that they deserve, then maybe I'll be able to keep that and look after them well. That what I've been doing. So I don't think that I'm a right person to answer these questions. As a career path, I really don't have any idea about it.
okay, so what are you doing actually right now? Like, apart from working for the animals, like, there must be a source of living for you. So,
Yeah,
so that I could know about you more.
yeah, I'm working as a this Beardo company that is more like a men grooming company part, is a part of a Merico thing. So I'm working as a yeah, this a notice head as of right now. And my job basically is to drive the target, to look after the team, how stressful it is to work with the target team. And apart from that, I look after every single state of Northeast, so geographically also it's challenging, to manage the staff is a little bit tough in a job wise. I have to travel all over the place at least 2 or 3 4 times in a month. So I barely get the time to stay at home sometimes when there is a a puja coming up, and right now it's coming up. So my work is really back to back. I have a traveling plan like that.
Okay. So, how do you spend time with your dogs? Like, you got your dogs at home, right? Dog. Like mostly, as you
Yes.
said, the rescued animals. So amidst the work schedule, like you got such a tight schedule. So how do you spend time with them?
Sagina, I have only a Sunday off. That is sometimes I don't get the Sunday off also. So it's kind of very difficult. The only thing is like I get up really like early in the morning. My dogs, they'll be like when it is 5 o'clock, they'll be eager to go out. So I kind of like go up at that time and make sure that like even if it's 2 3 minutes, I spend like I divide my time, especially on Sunday, to see like what they're doing and like how their well-being are, because the rest of the days I'm kind of just run past out them and say, hey, bye, see you, baby. And like it's more like that. So like on Sunday, I try to like spend 10 to 15 minutes with each one of them, like and I don't know, maybe I was like dog whisperer or something like that in my past life, because even if I don't have much time for them, everybody is very attached to me, and I'm like, I don't know what did I did in my past life. Maybe this is kind of karma that I got from like my past life. That's what I believe. Yeah.
That's sweet, actually. So, how do you manage the treatment costs and all those expenses when you rescue an animal? There are treatments, right? Then you have to look after their nutrition and all
Right.
those things. So, how do you cover that up?
See, I don't post what I do in like social media. Yeah, I don't talk about much, because see, what I believe is this is something that I really want to do. This is what I choose to do. It's not that someone else is like telling me to do it. So I don't want to put myself out there by like pressuring someone to give me the donation. Yeah, like asking for the donation is something that I really don't want to do, because I told you in the beginning that I'm doing at the best of my capabilities. But they are very kind people, like let me mention some people like AXA Foundation, who sometimes like donates the rice to me, like all those necessary. He like they thought that okay, this is something that she might really need, like that. And there are like people from Mizoram, let me mention this JB Post. That is one JB Foundation is something that like I've been part of since for a long time. Like they've been the one that who really pushed me back forward when I was really down, like um, when I started it. Let me say that, because this is not something that uh, mm, it's very easy. Yeah, it's hard. You have to manage the food, you have to manage the place to live. You will have to make sure that they eat well, they're healthy, they have a good place to sleep, and that part is like sometimes very hard. So there are some individual peoples, like who sometimes send me the money for the treatment, like okay, this is what we are doing, like I'm contributing this. So yeah, there is Makimi that who lives in Mizoram, and there are like some one who is like sister to me, not blood related, like let's say. And they don't, so she asks for a donation from the people. She sometimes send me like blanket for the kids for winter, like that. So maybe I forgot some people, but there are lots of some people like that, who give me uh, some monetary, like help, yeah, sometimes with food and like something like that from time to time. It's not that like every month they are giving it, but whenever they manage, they don't forget me. I really want to thank like those people that who really remember me in spite of never being here to see what exactly I'm doing, like that's really something like I think that they trust me enough to think that okay, I am going to give her something like this and it will go in a good cause. That part though, as an animal lover yourself, that like nowadays people are like, some people are just using it for something else. So not being able to be here and see my work, and not even in the social media, but still like they believe me enough to give something to me, that is really something that I'm really grateful about. It's hard, but yeah, we're getting there somehow.
So, like you are getting a very good support from the people, right? Like from the
Yeah,
organizations
I
and
have
people
only few
from.
people, but they are right, right. You're right. Because like I say, I don't post about it in the social media. So I don't think that lots of people know about me, So, but those who know me, they're always being there, even if I don't ask.
Yes, I do respect your choice of not, like sharing all those good things about yourself. But like nowadays, social media plays a very good role, right? Like if you use it in a
Right.
positive way, then you can inspire a lot of people, because what you were doing is not that everyone does. So maybe someday you can post about it, and there will be people who will be supporting you to do, like more work. Like you'll be able to rescue more animals and own a animal shelter someday. Like that sounds good,
Maybe,
right?
maybe in the future. Yeah, that sounds really good right now. But and like I say, with my job and having a minor kid here with me, it's kind of difficult for me to work overtime. And like I told you, if I started something, I want to like just dive into it. If I cannot give my 100%, I don't want to do it. If I post about it and if I talk about it, then I need to give justification to those people who really believe in me. So I don't have a time for that right now, along with my career thing that I'm doing. So maybe in the future, like you say, yeah, I'd love to do that.
Okay. So, I would like to know about your like food right routine. Like, when do you feed them? Is it a daily basis, or like it's when you are able to do it, or it's a weekly thing?
No, no. We're I live in Satgao. Here in Satgao, there is a different violence like that. And near my home, we are feeding them twice in a day, twice in a day. But I feed from this Satgao to Patharkwari side. So Patharkwari side, they got only one meal in a day in the evening. I stress about it endlessly, thinking that in the we feed them in the evening. So I used to stress about it. Oh my God, what do they eat in the morning? So there is no question of me being feeding them weekly or two times in a week. We have to eat the food every day as a human being. They need a food every day too. Yeah, we have to consider that. I seriously stress about them having only one meal in a day in that side. I used to check them when going for the office whether they look healthy or not. And then my brother and like my friends, they are the mostly who feed the side. So I ask them whenever they come back, this is always my questions. Sabne thik se khaya kya? Sabne thik se khaya kya? That's like them who is nag me if they don't eat well yet, if they don't get enough food, then I'll be endlessly stressing at night while sleeping that yeah, maybe they are hungry like that. So that is how I feel. Most of them are getting twice in a day, but those who are very far, place, they are getting once in a day.
Okay. So like you are feeding them every day, twice a week, but those who are far away, so they get one meal a day.
One meal a day, yes.
Okay. So, how many dogs do you cover in a day?
It depends, it depends on the, I think, mm, decisions. Sometimes when it is eating seasons, then the dogs are more it's come up to 100 also sometimes. It's come down to 50 also sometimes. So there is no specific numbers that we have been feeding okay, itna hum log ne roz feed kara. It's not like that. And now because we've been feeding them regularly, the dog are increasing. They just kind of waited for us on the roadside every evening when the feeding time. It's really I don't know. It's I don't know whether to put it as a happy thing, yeah, heartbreaking thing that when evening time when I'm coming back home, and when it's not feeding time yet, it's I don't know. I'm happy. I'm sad. I cannot even express how I felt. Seeing them waiting for that meal every evening on the roadside, everywhere in every byline entrance. Now they'll be waiting for that food, and I'm like, okay, at least they had a good meal once in a day, and they waited for that.
So they are like,
So it
my human will be coming with all that delicious food.
right. That is kind
Yeah.
of we living in the hostel waiting for our meal time. It's kind of heartbreaking for me. I wish that I can feed them twice in a day, but still feeding them once in a day, and along with all these it's take around 200 kgs of rice. like we use up in a 20 days. So I need around like 300 kgs of rice every month. And then like cooking gas and the time that I invested to cook and like and prepare the food and all, it's taken lots of time and it's taken lots of effort.
What are you feeding them? Like, what usually you make for them? Like, cook for
We
them?
cook the rice, like see, some people they used to give biscuits and all. I'm not against it, as long as it's fill their stomachs. Stray dogs are not choosy, they eat whatever you give, but I just want to make sure that they have like healthy meals which fill their stomach as well as good health for them, like so I give them rice. So we cook around like we cook so many times in a day. Like some group, there is a WhatsApp group of mine from Mizoram. They donate 10 liters, like cooker to me last year. So it's really helpful when it was a lockdown time, like okay. So it's like that. Some people like, okay, this is what's in it, then they give me. So I think God up there is very kind, and like people around me are like there is kind as well.
And like, I would like to know about the reaction of the people in your locality. Like, uh, are they supportive, or do you have to face things at home? Like,
Don't get me started about this. No, actually, when I started feeding it few years ago, like some people are like very not supportive at all. Like some are abusive, some are kind of aggressive towards me. They complain to my landlord endlessly because I don't own a like house here in Guwahati, so I live in the rent. I think I remember I was kicked out from the rent house like, 4 times in a year like that. Every 3 months I was moving with my dogs, like, because locality people, they keep on complaining here. But here in Sadgaon, like, people are quite good. Like before, when I started living here 3 years ago, things are different. Now things is better. And then, my landlord is quite like is nice, like whatever, even if people complain, like she's very supportive actually. And the kind of support that I always needed from my landlord, it's kind of support that I get it here in Sadka where I'm living right now. So that's why I've been able to live here for 3 years. In my 2016, let's say 5 years of living here in Guwahati. In the 2 years, I changed around 7, 8 house rent because they keep on kicking me out. Like, you cannot keep the dog here, you cannot feed the dog here. But I can see that things are changing. That is a very welcome change that I really like and appreciate, to be frank. Before that, community dogs and like, the stray dogs, people cannot tolerate it. Even if it is raining, yeah, there is sunny, and they are like just taking rest in the house outside. They wish to kick it out. But now I've seen lots of shopkeeper feeding them, and those food stall people feeding them, and I'm really glad about this. It's really changing, and it's changing for good. I don't know who are those people who inspired them to do something like that, but I'm really glad and really thankful to those people who ever inspired them to do more.
yes, actually, over the years, things are changing. People are like aware about it, aware about uh, they're taking care of the street dog, not only dogs, but the street animals on the street, actually.
Animals, yeah, straits, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, like, would you like to share any rescue story with us? Like something that come instantly in your mind when we say rescue?
Or when it's said, there are so many. See, I mostly rescue animals, like So as a rescuer, what I feel is like if you are really into it, you should be ready to dive into like dirty mug waters when it's needed. You should be ready to like take off your like formal like clothes or whatever, and get into the dirt, yeah, like ready to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, have when someone call you. It should be like that. That's what I feel. You live in a Guwahati, how it is like when in the raining days. When you talk about the rescue, the thing that I really remember is like one dog who were trapped in the pond I think it was last year. So someone from NGO, I have lots of friends here in NGO people. So they call me up and they say, Ornella, like, in the Satgaon, there is a one dog who we've been trapped in that, like, in the flood water when it was raining. So she been there for like a whole night and she been crying, and we cannot manage people to come there. We don't have a volunteer out there. Can you please go? I was in a Zoom meeting. So I told her, like, I'm in a meeting right now. And I thought that, okay, Zoom meeting, but I can do it later. So I just kind of bunked the Zoom meeting and went. So the flood water was this much. Okay, I literally had to swim the waters and try to rescue her there. And then the water was really smelly and smuggy. Like, it's come straight from those, like, drain, and it was really dirty. This is disgusting, I'm telling you. If it is not for my loved animal, nobody will ever convince me to get into that water for sure, I'm telling you. So we take around like 3-4 hours to rescue the dog, because she was scared and she was running round and round in that muggy things. But at least we took her out, and she walked away safely. And that part is like, I always remembered that part, because it was raining heavily, and I was swimming in that dirty water, and then at least the business was success. When you talk about rescue, that is thing that which really come on my mind. Apart from that, there are lots of rescue stories that I will not be able to share it all here today, actually.
And is there any successful rescue, I would say, because most of the time when we rescue an animal, it's like they're, you know, like in the time when the things are really serious or something like that. Is there any such kind of rescue story you would like to share with us?
I think, like I say, God is really kind to me. I think I always told my friends also, I never ask God for anything. When I pray, I say thank you and I say sorry. So when I pray for something, I think God really listens to me. So most of my rescue, they always survive. Even if it is a very serious situation, even if I bring them home, maybe because as soon as I bring them home, I pray to God, okay, I'm going to do everything that I can, but rest with I live with you. He has is your creatures. This is your creation. You're the creator. To save their life is in your hands. So I think maybe I believe so much to God that He will save them. So that's why I think. So most of my rescues, it's all about the success stories, Sangeeta. Seriously speaking.
Like, I'm very happy to know about it. Like, you are indeed very lucky that all your rescues are like one of those successful ones.
Yeah, I know some, but not those rescue one. Some puppies got ill. That kind of things. I lost some, but if there are some people who report about the rescue. Yeah, like dog that I see who are seriously injured that I rescue. They don't die. They didn't die on me. The only I remember only one who died on me, or some puppy used to come to me when I was living in that Borbari area. Someone broke. He was very playful puppy that I was really attached to. I don't know what did he did. Maybe he asked for food to someone. Yeah, he get into someone dustbin or something like that. They broke his jaw. This jaw bone. He Even if he survived, it's going to be problem. So doctor had to put that one down. I cried for whole 2 days. Whole 2 days. I was really messed up at that time. That was the only one that I lost. I could not figure out who did that, and I never had a like, I was not mentally strong enough at that time. I must say that, like, to go and see what did that to them. Like, even if it is right now like this, maybe I'll go and, like, file an FIR or something like that. But at that time, like, I was really not mentally strong enough to carry investigation. Yeah, like, go to police like that. But it's still really, like, uh, paid me some time to think about that little one who was, like, really playful, like, playful, and, like, really happy to have only one roti in a day. Like, someone broke his jaw just because of, I don't know the reason why. So that put me more into all these things. Like, it helped. It's make me think more that, okay, I'll do more. Like, because uh, we as a human being, we have a responsibility towards them to make their life better. Like, that's what I think. I don't know whether everybody else is thinking or not, but that really was what I'm
I,
thinking.
I just hope like there are more people like you, like the people who think alike. So, have you ever faced some cases when like you have to file uh, a case against it or something where you have to involve police and all those things? Because and as you are doing it all alone, so how do you handle all such things?
Like I say, I think that I'm the, really lucky one out here who are doing, like, we look after the strays, like, whether it's a cat, that's a dog, yeah, any kind of, like, even we rescue cows sometimes, like, calf, those were abandoned by people like that. But I never had to go to police station actually to talk about, like, people harassing me, hurting animals in my area like that. Maybe I am lucky. I haven't yet to have that kind of case. Like, I never faced like that. And the one time only I faced was, like, some women were bordering some, like, my family was taking the dog for a walk, like saying that, okay, ye gali hum log ka road hai, this road belongs to ours. Like, it's a public road only. You cannot go like that. We had some issues like that. I didn't file an FIR. They filed an FIR against me actually. So
Okay,
that was the
like
first time
on
and the last time.
like, so on what condition someone could like case file on such things?
So we had some, like, they are been very aggressive actually. They been very aggressive, and then they didn't let my, like, people to come back home, like, with the dogs. They stopped there and, like, they said, okay, call her like that. So I went. We just kind of, like, I told him, like, this is a public road, like, and if my pups and everything, they litter and anything like that, then we always clean it up. I say, we don't do anything. We are just going for a walk in the evening. Why will you stop us like that? So the woman was quite aggressive, like I told you. That was like 2-3 years before. So we have some kind of a problem like that, like, she hit me on my face and all the stuff, like. So we had a police case like that, but they took back the case afterwards. And then after that, I never ever faced anything like that again. Like, like I say, in here in the Patharkwari area, Satgaon area and Patharkwari area is a huge area, that. But nobody ever, like, hurt the animals that I'm feeding intentionally. They just let them be. Sometimes I used to look at them and I used to laugh because they will be like sleeping inside someone's shop like a boss, nothing happened. Like, if you do something to me, then Ornella will come and, like, you'll not be safe, that kind of thing. They are like, okay, I'm a boss in this area. So they are very kind. People are kind out here in the, like, Sadgaon area. I really appreciate it. I haven't faced something like that yet. Thank God for that.
That's it. So, um, next thing I would like to know from you, like it's like, do you think this animal welfare thing should be a part of our education curriculum? Like, it might bring. Do you think it might bring a change in?
It definitely will. Sangeeta, what I feel is, like, this is something that I've been really, really vocal about. Like, wherever I go, like, it's definitely will. The kids, like, the children are very innocent beings. If you put a compassion, like, things in their heart, they grow up with that kind of a compassion heart, and then this is something that I always feel that we should start it young. My dad always told me that, you should respect any living beings. We could not hurt the, cockroach living in our house, because my dad will say, tumko uska jaan lene ka hak nahi, you don't have a right to take their life. Throw them out in the window. You cannot hurt them like that. So I always grew up with that thinking that you should not hurt any living beings, human, yeah, like the dogs, cats, any other things like that. So what I feel is, if we started with that thing, then it will make a huge impact for the generations to come. You know what I mean? This is something that I really want to want this government to start it now. I'm glad that Aksar Foundation is started with the government, in collaboration with the government schools. They are going to start teaching the animal welfare thing in the school, along with the feeding, part. So the kids are going to study about, how to take care of their strays, not only dogs, like cats or whatever strays out there, and then they are going to learn how to feed. So you don't have to cover the area that I'm covering right now. You can look after the stray dog living in your, outside you get. It could be 10, it could be 5, it could be 2, whatever it is, that's how I really wanted to start it. So now Aksar Foundation has started that thing with the, government. Because of the COVID situation, they had to stop it for a while, I guess. Now they're starting it, I think from the October 16 or something like that. I'm really glad that at least government is doing something right now. Before that, they're like, okay, do whatever, kill them, throw them away. It's more like that. It's a heartbreaking to think that, nobody cares. Now the government is care enough to put someone, they pay them to do something like that. And there's some very compassionate people, who are trying to put this into a school like that. So they are paying for that. And then, I'm sure that things will change in 2-3 years. I'm sure that they're going to put this in a, in the educational, institution also. I'm glad that they are going to do this, and I hope that things will get better, from now onwards. And this is definitely something I really, really wish from my heart that it will happen.
As you were working individually right now, so
Yeah.
there must be a lot of people who want to do it, like who want to contribute towards the animal welfare. So, and they are clueless about this, like where to start, how to start it, how to start doing it. Like there are a lot of people who even ask me like कि कैसे करें हम, तुम कैसे कर लेती हो इसको, so पहले क्या करना चाहिए, like I want to start with an organization, or like I want to start feeding, but मुझे नहीं पता कि क्या करना है exactly. So for such people, would you like to like say a few things to them, like which might be really helpful?
Yeah, that is it's such a refreshing, things to know that there are some kind of people out there, who really want to start doing things. And yeah, of course, they're to be able to look after the strays, you need to be little bit skilled, because see, they've been kicked around, they've been thrown around, so they don't mostly trust people. So they can start with feeding, um, around their house, Guwahati and any other areas, we have a lot of strays living near our house. Nobody can be able to say that, nobody, there is no stray, near my house. Everybody has it, because there are so many strays here, as you know. So they can start feeding it once in a day to see, how, which one they're comfortable with. And then what I feel, after, like I say, I have lots of NGO friends and all, what I feel is, comparing to foreign country, any other country, here in India, now we are lacking those people who are ready to foster, NGO people, most of them does not have a shelter. They rescued it. When the report has come, they rescued, but they don't have a place to keep. So we need, obviously, some people who can foster that like that particular dog, yeah, puppies, yeah, whatever. We don't have those people. So they can foster puppies, like when they are NGOs looking for it, like until they've been ready to adopt, like something like that. Yeah, started feeding mm, once in a day, like leaving the street near the house, like that. One step at the time. It's something that you should really do here. You cannot see, it's like I say, it's a hard work. If they started, like in a very huge thing at one time at once, like, so they will be like uh, they'll stress out. Like, they'll, at the end of the day, they'll crash and burn. Instead of that, they can start small by feeding them, yeah, fostering them, which is like, what I feel is much needed here today in every place, not in Assam, in the state that I belong to, Mizoram also. Like I say, JB Foundation, like, they rescue sick animals. They're like, they care for them, they do the treatments, but because there are so many, they cannot keep in a shelter. They don't have a shelter right now. They're constructed as shelters, asking a donation from everyone. Like, just like you say, most people are ready to donate for humans, but they are not so ready to, like, doing for any other living beings, like animals. Is they are always pushed behind, like that. So they've been working towards constructing these, like, shelter for a long time. So even in my hometown Mizoram also, like, we need a foster like that. Those who wanted to, like, start it, you can suggest them. Yeah, I suggest them to do the fostering part. Fostering part is very hard. It's not very easy work. Okay, we have to feed them, we have to train them, like, we have to clean them up and all those stuff. It's a hard work thing. If they know how to handle, like, the dog up, yeah, and the kitten or whatever, like, they're fostering, then definitely they can be more into, like, go into feeding things, rescue things, like that. To get into, like, this animal, yeah, opening just a NGO because they love it without having any kind of knowledge, that will not be right for them. At the end of the day, they feel like I'm doing so much, it's like going nowhere. It's feel like that because I've been there, I've been done that. The reason that I don't want to, like, start my own is that is the exact reason that I am just holding on to see, like, how much experience that I can get, like, how far I can go. So that's why then they can start it, like, feeding. There are so many feeders in Guwahati also. It's feeders are very few, but strays are, like, it's unlimited right now. So they can take off the burden of those feeders if they are started doing, like, the feeding things in their own locality. It will be really helpful for them. I really want to request everyone to feed, like, their community has strays living near their home, so the feeder will not have so much burden, uh, because it's a stressful financially, like, and physically and mentally also for every feeder, like, belong in every part of, like, India today. That's what, like, I really want to say.
And when we talk about fostering an animal, like I'm talking from my experience. So when
Mm-hmm.
it there, it's पहले तो यही बहुत मतलब like is a big thing to find a foster, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
the next thing is then people will ask that is it okay, like is it injured or something like that, उसको चोट लगा हुआ है क्या, क्या केस है, एक्सीडेंट केस है, स्किन इश्यूज है या कुछ भी है. And then they will be like, if it's kind of a serious case or something, that people deny most of the time. Like it, it's what I have experienced. So I think
Mm-hmm.
वहाँ पे भी awareness का बहुत जरूरत है. Like foster हम like there's no need of fostering an animal which is like doing good, right? Like who is fit and all those things. Foster तो उनको ही करना होता है who need it. So like what will talk like, do we have to tell something about that
No,
part?
yeah, when you talk about the fostering things, like, it's not only those animals, like, who are injured, yeah, like, they are not the only one that we need a fostering. Sometimes, like, people in the COVID periods, there are lots of people who abandon their dogs, like, their cats, and because of the COVID thing, like that. They are healthy, but they need a home. And, like, since they are healthy and they don't need a constant, like, care, so they are more needed in needed of the foster home till they like, they put up the adoption appeal, but they don't know where to keep the dogs, like, so, like, it so happened, like, the animals are injured, and then, like, they don't have a place to keep, like, they'll be saying, okay, can you foster this dog, and we'll send like a doctor to.
Hello.
You hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Actually.
Okay. Sorry.
Can you
What?
hear me now?
Yes.
Can you
Now I
hear
can
me?
hear. Yeah. Yes. Now I can. हाँ बीच में disconnect हो गया था I guess.
Uh-huh. So I think, like, when it comes to fostering, then those not only injured animal, yeah, healthy animal need a fostering. As long as there is a like, animal which needs fostering, like, because like I say, NGO does not, they don't have a shelter home all the time. There is no space. So sometimes the injured animal need a home fostering thing. Sometimes the healthy, like, animals need a fostering, like that. So foster should be like, something that open to everybody, whether it's been injured animals, yeah, whether like the healthy one. It's like that.
So we are almost towards the end of the session, and I would like to ask our participants or the people who are watching us right now, do you have any kind of queries or anything to ask to Ornella ma'am, of course?
Yeah, you can fire it away. I'm ready to answer it tonight.
Yeah, anyone? Okay, so I think there's no queries. So
I think we pretty much cover all the topic, I guess.
yes, we have almost covered the topic actually. So
Yeah.
it was all about your experience and how you were contributing individually for the welfare of these street animals. So what will be your message for our participants or the people who are watching us right now? Anything you would
I
like
would
to
like
say?
to say, yeah, I really like to say, like, it might look very easy, like, it's not so easy. But the thing is, like, the people are, the problem with the Indian parents are, like, we mostly tell our children that kutta katega, you know what I mean? So most of the people, like, they care of strays without any reason at all, because that's how we've been taught by our parents, like, "Ye kutta katega." So I want those parents to be a little bit more responsible when you talk to your children, like, no, thank you. So what I feel is, like, the parents should be more responsible when they should be a little bit more educated towards the animals, like, which is a responsibility for, like, NGO, for those who people working for welfare of animals. Even me, like, I try to educate people as much as I can, and there's some very good like, NGO. We've been trying to spread awareness of these, like, so you've been kicked around whole of your life, you don't have, when you don't have a home, and when you don't have like, anything to eat for whole days, like, it's a natural for the stray not to trust you, if you are aggressive towards them, if your body language is not, like, something which is friendly, obviously they will be defensive. They are not gonna come and just bite you, they that barking at you, yeah, just like, their body language is their form of, like, trying to defend themselves. You have to know the difference, that, difference of that thing. So see, I remember one person told me long time back, like, if you feed the dog for one day, they'll remember for like, for 100 days, like that. So if when you started giving them anything to eat for one time, they'll remember you for life. They are not picky about the food. The all that I really want, all the people who are watching me, will be watching this live in the future or whatever, like, please give them a place to sleep at night. You don't have to put inside your home. You can put, like, you can let them sleep when they come and, like, lie down. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to give them a blanket. You don't have to cover them. I am not expecting you to do that. But at least when it's raining heavily, yeah, when it was a scorching hot at day, let them, like, lay down peacefully, like, let them have a good sleep at least for a few hours. That's what they need. They roam around whole night looking for food, and then they are tired and they try to sleep somewhere, and people for no reason come and kick them, yeah, like, and throw the stone at them. And that is something really, like, as a, like, human being, we should be responsible towards them by telling them, if you see someone like that, like, who are aggressive towards animals for no reason, please call anyone that you know. There are lots of NGO in the Facebook. There are lots of NGO in, like, IG, that you can report it to. If you are not reporting anything, like a sick dog lying on the ground and you just walk past it, not doing anything, forgetting about that, it's also your responsibility. Like, you have to take your part. We are not, as a wonderful, or, like, animal welfare person, yeah, NGO. We are not expecting invest lots of your time, yeah, give us lots of anything like that. But kindly do your part. Be responsible towards them. Like, community dogs, stray dogs living near our house. It's single one of them are our responsibility to make sure that they are healthy, they eat good food, yeah, like, they are not harming anyway. It's our responsibility. That is, as a human being, like, that I really want to request each one of you not to hurt them. Like, if you see them, let them lie down peacefully. Let them have a, like, one-time meal, like, in a full stomach. I really, as a feeder, yeah, as an animal rescuer, that is something really, 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 like, I really want to say each and everyone, like, that I met, yeah, like, in the future, that what I keep on gonna preaching, like, that, but I know things are changing. I'm really grateful that there are lots of people are, like, they're taking care of these strays now, but we can do so much more. At least women can tell you when they're hungry, when they're hurt, when they're in pain, but animals, they cannot. So it's our responsibility to take care of them, to see, like, they're not hurt in any way, they're not harmed in any way. And if you have a car, if you own a car, please make sure that you drive safely so that you will not hurt any animals. It's heartbreaking to see, like, cats, a dog lying on the road, like, dying like that, like, dead body just lying out there. That is, they deserve to be living in a, like, harmony with us. This art also belong to them. It's not only to human like us. It's belong to the every living beings, and we should live peacefully. And then, as we are the superior, now it's our responsibility to take care of those who cannot. That is what I really want to say tonight.
That's a very really wonderful message. So yeah, it's high time for people to realize that we should live and let all the creatures live peacefully. So I just hope
That's
at least
right. It's not.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not only responsibility of NGO, yeah, like, individual rescuers or feeders. It's the responsibility of each one of us. It's not only belong to NGO or anything like that.
I just hope we are able to at least inspire one people watching us that to work to give a thought about it. So here's a message from Akashdev Burwa. You are doing a great job. May God give you more capability and strength to keep helping the voiceless. It's a very sweet message.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's really kind of you to say that. So last thing that Sangeeta, I really wanted to say is, like, there are feeder groups in Guwahati, like, and there are some individual students, people like, who are doing so much for it, like, animals like that. They used to put up a post asking for, like, donation like that, because they are students, like, and they don't have a money like that. And then those who NGO who are constructing shelters, it's like, those shelters are not only belongs to NGO, it's belong to each one of us. You don't have to go out and help them out. You can sit at home and donate 100 rupees also, with, like, great help for, like, them. So if you can donate just sitting at home doing nothing, that part also is, like, get great help, that you are, even if you're not, like, getting down in the field, like, that is something that you're helping. So I really wish that you guys, like, if you saw post like that, take out this time, eat, like, mm, let's say, eat less one chocolate for one day and donate that money to those who need, like, I'm not going to ask for myself, like, I just feel that God is there to take care of me, like, so I really want to appeal for those who are constructing a shelter right now, because I know lots of NGO who are doing, like, constructing the shelter and asking for donation. You can see they post in the Facebook, those students who are, like, doing so much trying to rescue with their little pocket money. So please help those out sitting at home. Give them anything that you guys is, like, I'm capable of, and I'll be really grateful. And I'm sure that God will give back to you 100-fold of that. That I really want to say that.
Thank you, ma'am. So we are towards the end, and I would like to thank our participants for actively participating, and I'd like to thank you, ma'am, for your graceful presence, and I hope we'll connect again. And I wish you all the very best for the future. I just hope you will be able to rescue more animals and, like, feed more animals on the street and keep doing the good work.
Thank you so
So
much. Honored to be here to talk about the subject really close to my heart, and I'm really thankful to you guys for giving me this opportunity. I'm really thankful for you.
So yeah, as we end, I would like to tell our viewers, like, যেনেকে আমাৰ ষ্টেটত এতিয়া অলমষ্ট চব ৰেষ্ট্ৰিকশ্যন উঠি গৈছে কোভিডৰ, আৰু যিহেতু দুৰ্গা পূজাও আহি আছে, কিন্তু এইখিনি সময়ত মই এটাই কথা কওঁ যে কোভিড গ'লগে বুলি মানে, লাইক, আমি ইমান হৈ যাব নালাগে। একচুৱেলি দেয়াৰ ইজ এ চান্স অফ কোভিড কামিং বেক। চ' প্ৰিকশ্যনছ ল'ব নাপাহৰিব। চিয়'ৰ পূজা এনজয় কৰিব, বাট প্ৰিকশ্যনছ ল'ব নাপাহৰিব, আৰু নিজকে চেনিটাইজ কৰি ৰাখিব, and get yourself vaccinated and stay safe. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, stay safe, everyone. That is much needed. Take care of yourself as you take care of others. That's what it says.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.